In Part 1, we discussed how, under U.S. sanctions, a ghost oil network was built linking Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, China, and Russia. In Part 2, we will examine how Iran spends its oil money to maintain the regime, and what will happen if that regime collapses. From oil money to drones and proxies, Iran's energy is tightly fused with the ERC and overseas projects like Venezuela El Polito refinery. U.S. and European studies show that a share of sanctions-evading oil revenues, once run through shadow banking and barter deals, ends up financing Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, Shia militias in Iraq, the Assad regime in Syria, the Houthis in Yemen. On December 30th, 2025, the U.S. Treasury sanctioned Venezuelan firm ENSA and senior officials for assembling and maintaining Iranian Mohajer series drones in Venezuela, confirming local production of Mohajer 6 and Mohajer 2 derivatives capable of surveillance and precision strikes. Venezuela has already showcased Shahid-style and Mohajer drones similar to those used by the Houthis and by Russia in Ukraine, while Iranian Shahid drones have become a staple of Russia's long-range strike campaign, with Western intelligence tracing components to Chinese electronics and Iranian assembly lines. So when Washington targets Iranian energy, it is not just cutting revenue. It is trying to squeeze the pipeline that turns crude into drones, missiles, and proxy warfare. If the regime falls, oil market reset. Energy studies and past Iranian statements suggest that, with sanctions lifted and a cooperative government in place, Iran could add around 500,000 barrels per day within 6 months and ramp back toward 3.8 million barrels per day of production, roughly pre-maximum pressure levels. Floating storage has at times held 75 million barrels or more, meaning a significant volume could be dumped onto the market quickly. In 2025, even expectations of more supply and weaker demand helped push Brent from about $82 in January to around $65 in May. A full Iranian return would likely reinforce that downward pressure. Collapse of the axis of resistance. Friendly or neutral government in Tehran would shatter the current axis of resistance: Hezbollah, Hamas, Iraqi Shia militias, Assad, and the Houthis, all of which rely on Iranian funding, weapons, and training. If this pipeline dries up, Israel's immediate security environment improves sharply. Hezbollah's degradation in the 2024 to 2025 war, alongside Assad's weakening, already shows how sensitive this axis is to disruption. Cutting Tehran's financial and logistical hub would push it from fractured to fundamentally broken. Regional and global geopolitics. Gulf monarchies such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE would likely offer cautious support to a post-revolution Iran that abandons Shia revolutionary export, even as they continue to compete with Tehran for influence in Iraq, Syria, and the wider Levant. Turkey would try to expand its role in northern Syria and Iraq. Globally, the Beijing, Moscow, Tehran triangle fractures. Russia loses a sanctions partner, a drone supplier, and faces more competition in Asian energy markets. China loses a discounted energy tap and a Gulf bargaining chip, and must pay closer to market prices while rethinking its gray zone energy strategy. The U.S. regains part of its traditional role as security guarantor and energy balancer, using a normalized Iran to undercut other adversaries' resource leverage while consolidating a U.S.-centric resource order. Taken together, a fall of the current regime in Tehran would not only transform Iran's domestic landscape, but also reset the global map of oil, proxies, and great power influence, turning today's covert resource war into an overt realignment of the entire regional and international system.